Morning, guys. It is May 28th, and today Chambers is in John 16, and the disciples have been asking, "What does he mean? What does he?" They start asking each other, "What did he mean when he said, and you won't see me, and then in a little while longer you will see me, and so they're asking each other, "Do you understand? Do you understand what he's saying to us?" Um, I was just thinking yesterday, we lost Johann Gauss. This world lost Johann Gauss, the temporal world. Um, but he stepped into eternity, and I think how many questions that he always had or had before are now answered and meaningless. Like all the questions that we ask sometimes, when we really think about them, do they really matter? And I just wonder how many of the questions that Johann had are now not even important. And so the disciples here, um, Jesus tells them, you're asking amongst yourselves, you're talking about what I said. You won't see me, in a little while you'll see me again. And he says, the verse that Chambers focuses on is, "And in that day you shall ask me nothing." There will be no more questions when all is made clear, when all is made right, when Jesus reappears to his disciples, when he's glorified. And so Chambers is dealing with the how we get to the point where we don't ask questions anymore, um, not in the traditional sense of what does he mean, what does he mean, what does he mean, and wring our hands sometimes. And this is how Chambers deals with it in the second paragraph here. He says, "There may be any number of things dark to your understanding, but they do not come in between your heart and God." And that's the ideal when we see things, or things are in the darkness. We don't understand them or don't have clarity, but we know, but we don't allow that to come between our to interfere with our relationship with God. Uh, and in that day, you shall ask me no question, is what he says here. You do not need to. You don't need to ask any questions. You are so certain that God will bring things out in accordance with his will. And I think that's it's funny that we say it. We talk about people passing on into their eternal reward, and we think, oh, everything's made clear to them, and they don't have to worry anymore. They don't have to hurt anymore. And I think the no more pain, no more sorrow, no more grief, no more tears. Those are true, but I think sometimes we think we say, and pardon me, I'm just working through this, but um, no more concerns and worries and fears. Those are not ours to have anyway. We should not have worries and concerns and fears. Those are not to be part of the Christian life. And so where our understanding is darkened, that shouldn't come between us and God. Um, he says here down in the close to the bottom, when once your disposition is willing to submit to the life of Jesus, the understanding will be perfectly clear. And so whether that understanding is knowing all the details of the things that are dark to our understanding right now, knowing all the details, the one understanding that we will have is that it will all be made right. It will all be made right. And then in that day you shall ask me no question. I think it's a really interesting point, because you think about what do children do. It says, unless you have the faith of a child. It's interesting to me because it seems to be a paradox. Children ask questions. That's what they do. Children ask bunches of questions, and Jesus says, unless you have the faith of a child. And so when a child is finally satisfied that the questions they've asked have been answered, they just rest in it. And we have a tendency, if we're not careful as adults, not to just rest in the questions that we needed to have answered, and not worry about the ones that we don't yet have a clear understanding of. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. I am kind of reveling in the fact that Johann no longer has unanswered questions and everything's made clear to him. And I think what that must be like. So, anyway, be encouraged today. And maybe one day we'll get to the point where we don't have any questions. Guys, have a great day.